The SafeMoon Operation Pheonix video is here, but there are some people out there that are confused by some of the things mentioned in this, so I'm going to break it down, make it more simplified for you. Before I do get into that, I want to say a quick special shout out thank you to our Patreon supporters. Double shout out thank you to Rem AG, Xavier Zamora, Victor, Troy Smothers, and 1010 Buns for being higher level patrons, as well as welcome 1010 Buns, Jacob Chapello, Andrew Knudsen, SafeMoon Trismegistus, and Rafi Zulueta as our newest patrons. Also, thank you to all of our YouTube members. I really appreciate it, guys. If you want to join Patreon or if you want to become a YouTube member, there's a link in the description and there's also the join button down below. Please keep in mind, I'm not a financial advisor. Everything I'm sharing is my own opinions, my own research. I highly encourage you to go do your own research. With that being said, let's go ahead and get on into the video, right? So first thing is a quote by John. He said, Operation Pheonix is a combination of multiple innovations combined into a single SafeMoon ecosystem. It is also a mindset that we have here at SafeMoon to continually bring our community the latest and greatest technologies. He goes on to say, SafeMoon will never be done creating more opportunities for our community to grow and have more impact. Perfection is a journey, not a destination. SafeMoon is the evolution. This is something we've been commonly hearing from them on the team. Okay, now let's go ahead and dive into the wind turbines. They mentioned 27 gigawatts of energy planned. This is actually pretty interesting because I found an article that discusses this a little bit more in detail. This is published through CNBC, and it's titled 2022 will be a record year for wind and solar, new reports find. It goes on to say the firm expects as much as 44 gigawatts of utility-scale solar and 27 gigawatts of wind, which is what John had said, to come online next year. For solar, the forecast is nearly double 2021's estimated 23 gigawatts of new capacity. For wind, 2022's projected additions easily surpass the current annual record of 16 gigawatts set in 2020. So some high expectations, some high opportunity for the wind industry, and the fact that SafeMoon is tapping into that is very key and very important. Something else to potentially keep in mind, I don't know if this is going to be something for sure, but I think it could play a role, is the infrastructure bill. So the infrastructure bill passed by the House on Friday evening includes billions of dollars for clean energy projects. I'll say that again. Billions of dollars for clean energy projects. What is SafeMoon doing? They're doing clean energy projects. They're getting their licenses moving forward. Yes, they are looking to try and implement this in over at the Gambia, but the fact that they have their headquarters in the Utah location and they're running tests more than likely all right around the Utah location, I think there's a good idea here that we could potentially see the infrastructure bill supplying some set of back-end funding. People have been questioning, oh, where do they get the money for the billboards? Well, where do they get? One of the things is probably coming from government subsidies, things like this, to help justify the economic value that they're bringing to the table here, right? There's options that are out there that don't necessarily have to come out of the pocketbooks of the SafeMoon holders. Just keep that in mind. The larger $1.75 trillion social safety net and climate package, which the House is currently debating, earmarks $555 billion in climate-related spending. If the current administration is successful in putting the U.S. on a path to 100% decarbonization of the energy sector by 2035, these record-setting projections are just the beginning, S&P said, of its 2022 estimates. So very interesting just in that regard on its own. You have Centralized, has an environmental drawback. So, for example, they're not bird-friendly. Yeah, birds flying. I'm sorry, I laughed, but birds fly into these things. And the wind turbines that the SafeMoon team is currently working with, they are bird friendly. They're designed, they move slower, they're much smaller, there's less likelihood of birds like crashing into them, and even if they do, they don't move very fast, and they're, again, small. So yeah, and they also require specialized tools if they're centralized. The decentralized wind turbines combat this, again, being smaller, and then for the ones that they're using here, you only need one person, one tool, and it takes about 1 hour. And it's like a screwdriver. So I think it's a screwdriver, something like that. A very basic tool. You also have Area 32 is working on surface manipulation of the foils. So it's going to be the blades themselves on smaller turbines through the use of hydrophilic and hydrophobic particles done by using micron and molecular level technology, making small wind turbine design even more efficient. If you don't know what hydrophilic and hydrophobic particles are, here's a very easy explanation for you. They're materials with a special affinity for water. Those it spreads across, maximizes contact, are known as hydrophilic. Those that naturally repel water, causing droplets to form, are known as hydrophobic. And then in regards to it being micron and molecular level technology, that's just saying that they're focusing on the smallest elements possible of the design work. The smaller that they can go inside there to create this stuff, then the more even the distribution of everything's going to be, and the more efficient that it is likely to become. You have hydrophilic surfaces patterned and applied on a foil wing or turbine blade can be integrated to produce a greater interface with the active motion of the wind. So, just very simply, they apply this stuff. It should be more efficient with the wind. This changes the losses of energy due to chaotic flows into controlled forces of kinetic motion. So kinetic motion being something that's in motion, it's kind of a redundant thing. But yeah, kinetic motion is energy in motion over the turbine blades. This transfer of energy is enhanced by the surface patterning of the hydrophilic and hydrophobic coating. Then you have the technology lends to the ability to change traditional foil aerodynamics, so the way that it moves with the wind, through the ability to apply surface patterning coatings of hydrophilic and hydrophobic particles. Goes on to say, just scrolled up here and it just showed me the same thing. The increase of kinetic to electrical power is statistically and significantly and directly observable with high-speed wind tunnels, which they showcased in the video, that use laser illuminated atmosphere and high-speed camera technology to record data. You can see that there was lights that were shining on the top of the blade, and you can see the different wind particles that are blowing across the top and slightly across the bottom as well. So you also have the following: rapid prototype, additive manufacturing, molecular surface modifications, computational fluid dynamic modeling, real-world off-the-shelf turbine systems, high-speed real-world filming, 3D high-resolution scanning, CAD and CAM design and manufacturing. So if you let's go ahead and focus on rapid prototyping and additive manufacturing. These are two different key things because when you set them kind of together. So we're going to tackle number 1 and number 2 on the list here. They are closely related, but they're different. Rapid prototyping means producing a prototype rapidly, hence the name. Additive manufacturing refers to any manufacturing process which makes products by gradually adding materials. Rapid prototyping is usually achieved by additive manufacturing process. Then next up you have is molecular surface modifications. So the application of whatever that material is they're using to make it hydrophobic and hydrophilic. Then you have computational fluid dynamic modeling. Computational fluid dynamics modeling is based on the principles of fluid mechanics, utilizing numerical methods and algorithms to solve problems that involve fluid flows. CFD models attempt to simulate the interaction of liquids and gases where the surfaces are defined by boundary conditions. Then you have real-world off-the-shelf turbine systems. So, for example, the wind turbine that they demonstrated in the video, that one that you can put together within 1 hour time frame. Then you have high-speed real-world filming. So typically, if you're using a digital camera, you're looking at like a 60-frame capture rate. If you can maximize it even more, which a lot of digital cameras will give you the capabilities to do so, then even better. But you typically start with a 60 frame per second for that. 3D high-resolution scanning. So having software that's just analyzing it all the way around. CAD and CAM design. This comes in as referring to the integration of computer-aided design, which is CAD, and computer-aided manufacturing, which is known as CAM. Both of these require powerful computers. CAD software helps designers and draftsmen. CAM reduces manpower costs in the manufacturing process. And then lastly, you have is manufacturing, so the assembly of it put together. Then you have regulations for what they've been working on with that. They said they just filed and finished filing for a variety of different licenses, one of them being an EU, so the European Union e-money license. So I believe that's very similar to the money business license and the money service business, the MSB, and the MTL, the money transmitter license. But this one's talking more about over in the European Union. Delivered by Q2. They're looking at the SafeMoon card. They feel confident to have it be delivered by Q2, which means it's very likely to be coming in Q1. next 3 months. A future video will cover these items and also the exchange. They're talking about the fact that you got to go through the regulations in order to have the exchange go forward. So that makes perfect sense for that. As far as for the SafeMoon card goes, previously I made videos talking about this years ago, but in short, they were talking about doing partnership with Apple Pay. I don't know if that's still on the table or not, or if they decided to go in a different direction. It was also looking to have a separate transaction fee being used with the money processor, whoever they happen to be, because if you go into, let's say, a grocery store and you want to make a payment, it's going to deduct your SafeMoon and convert it over to fiat so that you can pay your vendor using that third-party service. And so they would have their own incursion of a tax fee, and that would potentially end up getting the SafeMoon transaction fee removed whenever it's based on those specific instances. Because obviously right now we have the 10% transaction fee, and then you have the 2% if it's a wallet-to-wallet. So in the simplest terms, you're looking at like a 2% if it's a wallet-to-wallet transfer, potentially with businesses. But in other terms, it might be a little bit more fluctuated because of working with a third-party vendor. And then moving on, we also have the Web3 network. Development in mesh technology. This is an opportunity that can expand out to areas that don't exactly have internet access. So decentralization of data and communications. This ties in with the fact that they're wanting to do a decentralized internet. And they mentioned communications, so potentially a network opportunity of using cell phone service, for example. Collaboration with the energy decentralization programs. We recently had seen that John, the CEO, had mentioned on Twitter Gamma, G-A-M-A. And I looked it up, and that looks like an energy-based type company that also deals with telecoms and several other things. And it sounds like it's pretty highly likely associated with the SafeMoon project, but there's several different projects that are out there. They're working over in the Gambia especially, that are trying to do things that are eco-friendly. So could be more than one, and it sounds like it more than likely is more than one because he mentioned programs as in plural, not singular. And then next up we have is the Gambia. And with the Gambia, they're working with partners to bring innovation and opportunity to a wider and greater audience. SafeMoon will be respectful of timelines and processes with which they have been given to officially enter markets and industries. So, NDAs, anything that's under agreement, not breaking those agreements, but they are working with multiple partners, right? It's not one partner, it's partners, again, plural that they said. They got a group of people that they're doing these things with, and they said markets and industries. And then they finished off by just saying that Operation Pheonix is not a single project. It is the application and integration of innovative technologies, such as the hydrophilic elements that are being applied to the wind turbines, to increase greater efficiency through the proper and correct use of decentralization, meaning that it's not being controlled, by the way. Like, you don't have a government or a company that has any one single say on it. Into macro IoT, which is the Internet of Things, macro being on a bigger scale, infrastructure, innovative technological capabilities, and recent discoveries and tests are providing pathways to bring light and knowledge to communities. SafeMoon is the evolution. All right, that's going to go ahead and be it for this video. I don't want it to run on too much longer. If you guys would like to, you can check out the different referral links I have in the description. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. Everything I'm sharing is my own opinion and my own research. I encourage you to go do your own research, guys. And if you're new to the channel, do not forget to hit subscribe, hit the thumbs up like button. I need to drink some water. And I will click the bell icon so you know whenever we go live. And I will see you in the next episode.